I've been living now in Croatia for 20 years, and I've watched the population decrease by over 10 to 15% in that time as a lot of people emigrate and they go in search of a better life in other countries. There are not so many foreigners who have moved to Croatia in that time, and some people think I'm a bit strange for living here, but having been here for 20 years and having seen life back in the West, I think I made the right choice and I'm very happy here. And here are 8 reasons why I live in Croatia and I think it's the best place to live in Europe. First reason is safety. Croatia is just one of the safest countries in the world. It's a place where to bring up children, there is a huge community of people that will help you. When you're down at the cafe, there's always somebody who's looking out. So there's a real safety net here. Also, there's very, very little crime here compared to elsewhere. I was talking to a woman from South Africa recently who's moved to Croatia, and she said that she had lived in Croatia for 1 whole year before she felt safe enough to leave her mobile phone on the passenger seat of the car with the door locked. By contrast, I once dropped my laptop in the street in Zagreb and didn't know about it until the next morning, and the next day I was reunited with my laptop. Somebody had found it on the street, repaired it, and contacted me and gave it me back. And that's a very, very common story here. If you lose something, things will come back. A lot of people now, with a very uncertain world, are looking at Croatia for its safety. And so there are a lot of diaspora from Australia, places like that, who are choosing to move to Croatia from Sydney so that they can bring up their children in this idyllic, safe place. Another reason I really love Croatia is for the nature. More than 10% of Croatia is given over to natural parks and nature parks. And wherever you turn, this is just a stunning, stunning country. For a place to go out and have a walk, you're always going to come against natural beauty. We have 1,000 islands, 1,772 kilometers of coastline, and inland Croatia is absolutely spectacular as well. Number 3, lifestyle. This is quite simply the best lifestyle in Europe. But don't kid yourself that nobody's working in Croatia. When you see people in cafes enjoying a coffee that lasts 2 hours, most of the business that gets done in Croatia is done in cafes. Here, people use the lifestyle to do the work. And so a lot of people in the West, they live to work and they've forgotten how to live. And in Croatia, people work to live. And this is a very, very big difference. And so everything is done on a much more relaxed timescale here, but things do work. Another thing I love about Croatia is the absurdity. The way I describe Croatia is Absurdistan with the best lifestyle in Europe and a sprinkling of Balkan insanity on top. Everything just about works, but there's always some kind of crazy thing in there that just makes no sense at all. For example, if you're a foreigner looking to renew your work permit or residence permit, you need to produce an original birth certificate no more than 6 months old every year. So even though I was born in 1969 and I have my original birth certificate, it's not valid if I want to renew my residence permit. I have to go and spend 500 kuna to order another one, even though I haven't changed my birth status. And Croatia's full of that. I've just published a book, and if I want to sell that in a PDF, I have to have a warehouse which fits minimal technical inspection of water, sewage and electricity to sell a PDF. The absurdity of life just makes every day interesting and everything's a little bit different. Food is a massive thing here. Croatian food is fantastic, but what really sets Croatian food apart is the freshness of it. You can't get every single ingredient 12 months a year, but when you do get it, it's absolutely magnificent, and the taste is something that out of this world that we no longer have in the West. And so, there is no better feeling, for example, than at the end of a perfect day, having a gin and tonic on the terrace and asking the kids to go out into the garden and pick a lemon so you can have a fresh lemon in your gin and tonic. These kind of experiences don't happen. And so in Croatia, you learn to long for the individual harvest. So in March, the wild asparagus season is fantastic, and the flavors there are out of this world. Tomatoes in the summer, mandarins in November, and so on like that. And so you learn to accept that you don't have everything all the time, but when you do have it, it's really, really magical. Another thing I really love about Croatia is this sense of community. Croatians are very, very close-knit people, and when they're in adversity, such as during the war or during hard economic times, they're very, very good at coming together and helping each other, and this is something I think we've lost in the West. Every family event, or most events like the olive harvest even, you'll have 3 or 4 4 generations of family coming together, being together, each looking after each other, and it's a fantastic way to raise children. The other thing I really love about Croatia, which is not so well known, is just what an incredibly positive country it is, even though it has a reputation for being negative. A Croatian can forgive you everything but success, and so all the positive people stay under the radar, but once you get to meet those people, there are some incredibly interesting places and people to meet, and I genuinely don't have enough time to have as much fun as I could have with all the people I met here, because it's a really, really diverse community, and under the radar, there's a lot of really interesting things going on. And the final thing, and maybe this is a bit strange being a Brit, the thing I really appreciate about Croatia is the humour. Brits are supposed to have the best humour in the world, but something about the Croatian humour, it takes a long time to get to appreciate it as a foreigner, but it's a very cutting and very harsh humour, I find. And so to give you an example, when I got my first lawsuit at the age of 51, every foreigner I told was shocked and was sympathetic and everything else, and not one Croat was sympathetic. They were all, "Čestitam, congratulations, now you're finally one of us." And it was as though I was welcomed into this opposition to the regime and so on like that. And so with Croatian humour, it's very, very direct, and I really, really appreciate it, and it's among the best in the world. And so honestly, with all these reasons of nature, lifestyle, absurdity, positive bubbles, food, and all the rest, I have no idea why you're not here. So come live in Croatia, it's amazing.